Wow, this is so weird doing a podcast by yourself and trying to talk to yourself while filming yourself and recording yourself. It's a strange one, but I want to welcome everyone back to the For Humans podcast, and let's begin by saying that this will be a fresh start for the For Humans brand itself. We had the early stages with what we were doing at Civitas in Terrigal, but fortunately things have progressed where we've got rid of that shop. I'm not going to say unfortunate because I'm actually quite happy that that place is gone. That has been a fucking big old chapter in my book, and of course Jacob's book and everyone else that worked there and experienced it. A big chapter in learning about life and in learning about ourselves as people, and just experiencing something that not everyone gets to experience, owning a shop and building business and having a go at that, and then dealing with what happened with COVID and all that. So I want to welcome you guys back to the For Humans podcast. For those that are watching, hello, it's good to see you. That is those that are listening, bonjour, comment ça va? And I hope you enjoy what I've got set out for the next 4 to 6 weeks. For now, we're not going to have any guests on. It's just going to be myself, Nick Sanham, just breaking down pretty much 6 to 8 kind of experiences and things that I learnt from having Civitas and from having business and managing people and figuring out myself as a human being and really coming to terms with a lot of stuff that I didn't realize I was doing until I finally got rid of Civitas and that shop and just scaled back a lot. And it's a lot of the stuff that I'm going to take into my next ventures, and I'm very, very excited to continue to keep learning. And it's been a very humbling experience from what happened with the shop. I'm not going to get into exactly what happened with the shop. There's so many different factors that played into the reasons why we shut and why we wanted to just get rid of it. At the end of the day, I myself was very fatigued. I just had no energy. It's kind of like someone just sucked the energy out of me. And for some people that want to get that innuendo, just reminding you that this is not just a serious podcast about mental health. We want to kind of still educate and give entertainment to you guys as well too. So then you guys aren't just like, oh fuck, we're listening to another fucking mental health podcast. No, we're here to have a fucking laugh. I'm having a little Captain Morgan's right now, or the rest of the Sailor Jerry's bottle. Actually, I've been drinking quite a lot lately, but not for the wrong reasons. I've just been enjoying a beverage here and there, the different kind of beers, and my spirits have not kind of scaled. I've been drinking more beer than anything. Budweiser, I've been getting really into Budweisers, which is really cool. So yeah, today I'm going to explain what's going ahead and what we're going to be doing with the brand a little bit, and also then just dive into the first kind of topic. And what I mean by the first kind of topic of this 4 to 6 kind of week project with the podcast is that I'm going to break down kind of some key things that I learned about myself and learned about business and all that kind of shit, and explain it the best I possibly can from my perspective and my experiences. So to give you an example, so you're not confused of what the fuck's going on, this episode's going to be all around ego. So we're going to I'm going to kind of break down my experience and my perspective of what ego is, because I went through a big ego check when I had this shop and when we got rid of this shop, and how ego can play into many different factors in life, good and bad, because we tend to look at ego as something that is a negative, and it's definitely not. It's definitely who we are made. Oh my god. Sorry guys, there's people that are listening at home. My camera just, I don't know why that just did that. I'm trying to shoot in 4K and it's only giving me giving me 10 minutes. Hang on. There we go. We're going to record again. Hey guys, welcome back to the viewing of this podcast. Why? Hang on. We're going to come back in 2 seconds. It's literally going to be a second for you guys, but it's going to probably be like 5 minutes. Me trying to figure out why I can't record more than fucking the amount of time on my camera. All right. This is the problem when you film by yourself. You haven't got someone to like watch over you while you anyway. Look, I totally forgot that the camera that I was recording on, this little handheld thing, Sony, the 4K only has a 5-minute time limit. If I put it in 1080p, it'd be for unlimited actually. It's quite interesting, but I've just got my A7 III back on here now. I can't see the screen, it is what it is. I do have an external monitor, but I can't be asked to set that up. But anyway, as I was saying about, let's just jump right back into ego for a sec. It's definitely who we are made of, and it's definitely what we are made of. Like, we are made of ego, and like our personality is an ego, you know, like we tend to have this negative idea or perception around it being like, you know, that guy's got a massive ego. In a way, like, it's actually who we are. Like, it's our confidence, and it's our identity, and what we tend to do in life. And yes, of course, having certain egos where you're a bit more up yourself and stuck up and think that you know everything, that's more of the negative side of it. But then also you have to have that confidence to then be able to go out and be like, I can do this. I am knowledgeable at this, and it's an interesting one. But so just quickly, just diving into what this project is, and then I'll get into more of my ego and experience, and continue to have the beverages. So over the next 4 to 6 weeks, you're going to hear episodes on all different things. I'll give you a little bit of a hint at what some of those are. So I'm going to start off with ego. We're going to then move into some insecurity talk around opportunity, passion, trust, confidence, mindset, depression, and anxiety. So each of those are different episodes, and I'm going to break down my experiences with those things. As you can see, they're not all just about mindset. Like opportunity, for instance, is going to be an interesting one we talk about, and when you guys listen about you know, looking at different opportunities in life and taking and seizing them to, you know, level up your life, and what I experience with, you know, what I've been doing for the past 2 to 3 to 4 years. So yeah, I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited too, and I hope you guys follow along. I'm very excited for this this next project, the For Humans project, the brand, the whole podcast, the content that I'm going to try and produce for you guys. It's something that I'm very passionate about, and it's one of my arms in life of you know, the things that I'm keen to grow and put my time and efforts into it. So diving into ego, right? So it was like a slow burn. I'm going to give everyone a timeline that over 3 years from when I started barbering in Terrigal at Louis Lou Tattoo, and those people that started coming there, I had a sense of confidence that I knew that I was going, going back then, I had a sense of confidence that it would do good, but I didn't have a sense of confidence that it was going to be like as good as it is, or good as it was. Because it was only 3 months in, and then I decided to start looking at other shops, because the only reason I went into Louis Lou Tattoo was because I was going to continue filming and doing weddings, film weddings and film content and all that. And I was going to use barbering as pretty much what I'm doing now, which is very funny, as kind of like a secondary and just an outlet for me to, you know, talk to people, catch up with people. Financially, it's really good if I put some time and effort into it. And it gives me a lot of freedom to do what I want to do creatively, which is nice. So I started to get this sense of confidence in this. I started getting my confidence through the shop at Louis Lou, and I thought, you know what, I was speaking to my wife, and I was like, yo, let's have a look there. So this shop in Terrigal, where the private studio was, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna go check it out. Anyway, as soon as I did that, my ego just went, fucking oath, I can do this, fucking oath, like, I'm good, let's go. And but it was a sense of confidence. It wasn't like, okay, I want to still stay true to myself. What am I doing? Why am I doing this shit and all this kind of stuff? And so just fast forwarding there, like we ended up getting in there. I asked Jacob to come along with me. He was working at another barbershop at the time. I asked him, this is what's happening. This is the opportunity that I want to present to you. If you don't want to do it, let's totally chill. If you want to do it, let's go. Let's get into it. Anyway, he came along. It was fantastic. And I said to him, I was like, fuck, man, like, you know, I'm confident. I'm not even going to worry about it. Like, we're going to make this work. Like, the money's going to come in. It's going to be fantastic. We're going to be able to pay rent. Anyway, fucking COVID happened for the first time in all of it, 2020. And, yeah, that was an interesting one because we had like 3 months rent-free period. And then literally we used that 3 months to kind of fit out the shop, which was cool. And we then had a month off because we started it, and then like 2 weeks in, and then we ended up closing down for a month. We didn't have to because hairdressers could still be open. But we decided, no, fuck it. Like, we're going to do the right thing. We got the money. Like, it's totally chill. Like, we'll do our thing. Anyways, we had a lot of fun. I don't want to get into like the history of what we did at the private studio and how that's not the story here. It's talking about ego and how I developed it. And I'm talking like I'm going to start leaning towards like, you know, how I started developing I'm not going to say a negative ego because I wasn't full of myself, but I was full of myself, if that makes sense. Like, once I got rid of the shop, like the Civitas, this is a bit of an arc. Once I got rid of the shop, I had a massive ego check, and I'll give you the reason why I got to that point. So, Jacob and I, we were quite like popular from the start with the private studio, and a lot of people gassing us up. Like, you know, we could walk around Terrigal and everyone would know who we are because we're the new kids on the block, and you know, fucking oath, it was stroking our ego. It's like we're like little mini celebrities in Terrigal. And look, it felt great at the time, and it felt really nice. And like, you know, walking around and people like, oh, shaking your hands. That's the barbers in Terrigal. Like, great barbers, best barbers, you know. And we created a lot of content. It was so much fun. Like, you know, we did a lot of like fun content that wasn't just barbering, and that got us more popular too. Like, we're doing basketball challenges and like eating challenges and all that kind of shit. And it was sick. Like, we're having heaps of fun, but that started to creep in. Like, I had a bit of a chip on my shoulder. I would like to believe that I didn't show it off, but if people did experience that, I do apologize, but I also don't, because it's also led to me to who I am today. And so that's when I feel like, you know, because I had the chip on my shoulder, I had that confidence, I had that kind of ego to be like, fuck, I'm indestructible, I can do whatever I want. We had the idea, like, fuck yeah, let's expand. Like, we're talking about, like, what are we doing next? What's next? You know what I mean? We're fucking killing the private studio. Like, everything we did had such a fantastic response. Like, even we did a 24-hour challenge, and that was fucking like a mad hit. Like, we didn't expect it to go off that big, and it was fucking mad. We cut hair for 24 hours, raised heaps of money for cancer, and just a great night for everyone that was there. Drop a comment below or send us a message of like what your favorite experience was. But that's when we had the idea to like, okay, fuck, let's expand. And we're only like 10 months in, so like this is moving very quickly. And to me, I'm like, yeah, it's fucking sweet, yeah, whatever, like, you know, let's fucking do it. I can do whatever I want. Like, you know, I can make a barbershop successful because I know a barbershop because I've been working in a barbershop. I was like, yeah, well, I should just be able to apply this exact same shit to a cafe or a bar. Like, why not? Like, fuck it. Anyway, I had the ideas, and we had the ideas. Jacob and I were back and forth, and we found this location. That one fell through, and then it's all in Terrigal still. And we finally found where Civitas was, and then we ended up doing it, and it was all sweet. You know, I was like fucking ballsy. And look, without the ego, I don't think we would have been able to accomplish and get the money that we got, and like just fucking balls to the wall. It showed me that money is very accessible if you are willing to go out and get it. Not to say it's like free money, like, you know, it's debt money, but it's money that we're using to invest. So that was an interesting one. Like when I was listening to the Gary V's and the motivational business podcast, is that, you know, they're like, money's super easy to get. And in my head, I'm like, fuck, no, it's not. It's very easy to get. And once you move that idea of like, oh, it's so difficult to get, it's like, it's quite, like there's different avenues of getting money to start your investments into business or whatever it is. Like even if I was to go borrow some money now to buy a car or some shit like that, or a dirt bike or whatever it is, I'm sure I could get it. But it's just like, what am I willing to sacrifice then to then pay that back? Which, of course, you don't think about when you go borrow that money. You're just fucking full of ego. You're full of excitement. You're full of like, yeah, whatever. So I had this idea like, yeah, I'm this fucking big entrepreneur, man. Like, you know, big business, and I want to build businesses and do this kind of shit because I can build a fucking barbershop successfully. And fucking, we do it all. We build it all. It was a lot of stress, but no, actually, it wasn't. It was a lot of stress, but it wasn't as lot as bad stress. And we finally got it done. Right, we finally fucking got it done. And I was like, yeah, sweet. And then I still had the lease on the other private studio, and I was like, yeah, fuck whatever. I can build business. I do whatever I want, you know. And anyway, 2 months into having Civitas, yeah, things were kicking along, and so we're in a bit of debt. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But we're gonna find our feet, because if we found our feet with the private studio, COVID hit, and we were shut down for 5 months. And that really showed that I wasn't necessarily built out to do hospitality and a bar and business to that level. Not to say that I don't think I could have done it. I just don't think I was built for it, in the way of my ego didn't allow me to see past, you know, letting someone else come in or do it. Like I still, even now as I talk about it, I don't think I fully grasped the whole idea of it. Anyway, so I was still under this impression that I didn't want to give up, because I had this fucking this image and my ego to fucking uphold. And you know, I was stuck at home and was trying to create content and this and that, and I just fucking I lost myself in the sauce. Because without Civitas and without me doing like that kind of shit, I lost my identity. So at this point as well, I stopped cutting hair just before the lockdown, because I was just focusing on the shop and cutting and trying to make it work. Like I had the bar, the cafe, the barbershop, and the style bar. We ended up, after the lockdown, getting rid of the style bar and just had a full barbershop there, which kind of worked, which was cool. But then we had the other shop, Hannah's shop, my wife's shop, where the private studio was. Like we tried to I just had that empty for so long, and I was paying rent on it, and I actually wasn't paying rent. I was just fucking stacking up rental cash and rental debt, and I just kept fucking burying it down, and I felt like, you know, I was trying to be as humble as possible and trying to be like the nicest person ever to everyone, and just try and uphold this fucking image of like who I am and my ego and all this kind of shit. And at the time, of course, I didn't realize it. I've only realized all this after I got rid of the shop. So at the time, I thought everything's, you know, this is me, this is my life, this is who I am. And but you know, yeah, it was just, we got out of the lockdown, and we were trying to come back into it. And through that lockdown, that's the thing, like I'm going to say right here as well, if you're in business and you're in the lockdown and you blame everything on the lockdown, you're not meant to be in business. Because if you truly gave a fuck about your business, you would have done everything in your power to keep it going. Yes, it was shit. It was so shit, right? But you would have found angles and ways to make that shit work, and I didn't. And I believe that it's because I was not as in love with what I was doing and not as passionate and not as keen. I was just trying to chase that dollar figure to pay rent, and I had all those financial stresses, and of course, like, all that stuff plays on it. There's so many different factors that play into this story, but we're just trying to break down me as a person, as who I thought I was, this big entrepreneur man that I thought, like, I'm going to build those businesses and prove to everyone that I can build easy, successful businesses and shit like that. And you know what? We got out of that lockdown, and I was so fatigued, so tired. I couldn't be fucked. And then we tried so many different things. We tried like little business like Bubblio, and then we tried like a taverna, like kind of like bar area thing, and people were like cancelling left, right and center, and I was just like, fuck this. And I just kept getting tired, more tired and more fatigued, and I just cracked. One day. I was like, my whole mind, my whole body, my whole self, just kind of said, this is it, I'm done, finished. So that's when we decided to like shut the shop and all that kind of stuff and try and sell it. And once we finally settled on and found someone that wanted to take over the shop, I didn't end up selling it either. I didn't make any money from it, so I've got literally all the bar stuff sitting in the garage right now. And we ended up signing a lease over. I lost a lot of money on it. Everyone's gone and doing their own thing. Jacob's doing his own thing, and so is the other barbers, Cody and Taylor, and Haley's just had a baby. And I'm left here going like, okay, who the fuck am I? And it's kind of like, for so long I was known as this fucking person that was doing business and building business, and my ego kind of felt like it took a massive hit, because then to myself I'm like, okay, well, who am I then, and what am I doing? Like, I lost a lot of confidence. I got very insecure, which of course I'll talk into insecurities a little bit later, or into another episode. So I went through a lot of stages after all that, in the process of signing the lease over. So I signed the lease over to someone else, and in those processes, I kind of like, I started peeling back who I was as a person, not just in my head, but as the outside as well. So I've been becoming more aware of what I actually enjoy and who I kind of am wanting to mold into as an ego, or as a person, as a personality as well. And I feel like I was on this fucking high for so long, and I was like, I felt unstoppable. And as soon as I get knocked off the horse, it was like, I'm fucking bruised. And I don't know, I was so scared to announce or do anything. And it's only recently, in the past kind of couple of weeks, that I've actually started to rebuild my confidence and rebuild me sharing stuff like this with people, because I was so scared of what people were going to perceive me of. And of course, me sharing this right now, I know you guys, very lovely to comment below or send me messages, people that do know me. I really do appreciate you guys. But it's something that I had to be real with myself, is that, it's okay to fail, and it's okay to fall down. And it's okay to go through like stuff like this, because this is the biggest thing that I've ever gone through, that's been something that has dramatically changed me as a human being. for quite a while, maybe since I was like 18. You know, like over the years, of course, I've matured, and my thought processes have changed, but my whole perspective on life and my whole priorities on life have fucking changed dramatically from this. And I think that around the ages of 27, 28, we tend to do that. We tend to go through the life and just be like, okay, fuck, like, you know, what have I done, or whatever it is, where do I want to go? And I'm not saying right now that I'm like, okay, I'm 27, I need to settle down and fucking, I need to just go get a normal 9-to-5 job. It's not like that. I'm not saying, hey, I'm in a rush. I'm fucking young as shit. But it's still at that point where it's like, I don't fucking know everything. And I won't know everything until the day I die. But even then, when I die, I'm not going to know everything. So it's like, why rush? Why take that? Why take those? Why have those thought processes that, you know, you're unstoppable and all this kind of shit when it's like you're not, but you have to allow yourself to adapt and evolve and change throughout problems and find the solutions to keep molding into the person that you want to be. Hence, this is the person I want to be. This is my choice for me. Me doing this on a Sunday night right now, filming this, isn't forced. This is just me expressing my heart, my energy, my love to share value and educate you guys. That is all I give a fuck about. All I want is just messages coming back, or even just a message from someone and be like, man, resonate hard. That's all I give a shit about. Like, I ain't going to be doing this for like, you know, oh yeah, buy my merch, buy my blah, 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 blah. I'm going to say, if this does grow as a brand, I do want to produce merch and stuff like that to get more attention, but it's not like that in the sense of like, I'm doing this to just make money off it. Hence, the whole brand, For Humans brand, is not for me to make a business out of it. It's me to express who I am as a human being and express what I'm passionate about. And that's sharing my experiences and my value to you guys, so then you guys can resonate and we can all just grow together. Whether you're a guy, girl, fucking alien, dog, cat, whatever age you are, 0, 99, 100, fuck, whatever it is. I don't care. We're all in this fucking spinning ball of fucking whatever it is for a finite amount of time. So why the fuck do we not just share each other's experiences and just learn from each other and just have the best time ever? I'm going to leave it at that. I love you guys. I hope, you know, I'm going to grow from here. I hope you guys grow too. I hope you guys enjoy. Please subscribe. Share this with the podcast. Share the podcast. Fuck. I need more drinks. Share the podcast. And I'm going to go watch the new Ozark episodes. Hope you guys watch Ozark too, because I love that shit. Alright. Next episode, we're talking about insecurities, which leads off the ego train as well too.